The start of our film was intended to give the sense of a dreamlike state. The first montage of images represents the fragmentation of the protagonist's mind. This theme is also portrayed in our poster, with the shattered glass and the actual breaking of the mug in the film.
One particular shot within this opening sequence can be directly linked to our poster. The title shot with Brighton Pier was used. This establishing shot gives a sense of reflection upon the protagonist. The childlike joy of the pier has almost depressing connotations.
The start of the film and the narrative structure is signified through the spark of the match. It also carries themes of life and how the protagonist has directly experienced a loss of life and intended to end one himself.
Certain close-up shots of particular items around the protagonist's house are intended to reveal parts of his life. The model of the couple signifies his lost relationship, although these revelations are limited through the use of restricted narration.
What? Human curling. Oh, end. Don't press. Middle one. The shattering of the mug carries much metaphorical significance, with the breaking of the mug symbolising the death of the protagonist's wife. The way in which the mug is reassembled in his office shows how her death follows the protagonist throughout his life. Toi, Gad.
The various shots of the protagonist leaving his place of work reinforces his isolation. This is particularly relevant with the extreme long shot of the protagonist walking across the car park. The long time it takes for him to reach the camera and the fact that the camera remains static further reinforces his isolation.
For the entire project, we sought to create a dreamlike era around the protagonist. The various car journeys link back to the original, making it hard to distinguish between the dream and reality. When the audience reaches the point of realisation, it is all the more shocking and helps build tension throughout, a classic thriller trait.
Rolling.
This close-up of a dripping drain, whilst the protagonist passes in the background, is designed to represent the bleak and blackness of his life, also shown by his isolation within the shots. His isolation is also shown by his photo in the poster and the review. Oh yeah, you did it.
The conversation between the protagonist and his friend contains hidden meanings. The way in which the current pier is visible when his friend speaks, rather than the burnt down pier, shows the healthier state of his life when compared to the protagonist's. This particular extreme long shot of the protagonist upon the pier was inspired by the short film Drift, with the usage of editing to speed up the image. This shows the pointlessness of the protagonist's life, that he spends sustained periods of time here. The number of people who pass him also reinforces this.
Events begin to unravel in this section, as the protagonist is shown to have captured someone. The point of view shot, with a low angle from the boot of the man, shows the realisation of his choice, which is confirmed when slamming the car boot shut. The protagonist is also given a sense of power with the use of the low angle shot to make him seem bigger and more powerful than ever before.
The ground shot of the captured antagonist is also significant, with the protagonist's footsteps moving past it, shows the threatening power that he has over this man's life. The slamming of the glass against the sink has violent connotations. The sound of the glass makes a loud clang, deliberatively done to completely bring the viewer out of their comfort zone, as at this point the protagonist finally loses his mind.
It was important to be consistent in the framing techniques we used. An example of this is within the protagonist shots, such as the medium-long shot here, while he moves through his house. Framing as another method for decepting the protagonist's isolation. This is also apparent in the poster, and isolation was a key theme throughout our film. This shot is heavily significant, as it shows the model of the couple earlier in the film. The symbolisation of this close-up is perhaps more significant, as this time the protagonist is murdering the assailant man, out of revenge for hurting his wife in the car accident and killing her. Shallow depth of field is used to blur the action. This emphasises the statue of the couple, and the meanings behind the statue are now separate to what the protagonist believes in.